back to Daily Dose. My name is Robert, here with Susan. We're talking all things Chat GPT and AI within the realm of cinema therapy, telling your story. And by the way, when we say your story, it may not be your personal, non-fictional narrative about your day-to-day life. It might be your story tangentially, a story about a woman who has Parkinson's in a made-up town called Harmony with a dragon for a son. All of those things. Your story. And that's important because I think when we again break down these terms, if we just fly by story, people go, oh, when your story, you just mean my day-to-day life. And it's like, well, you can tell your nonfiction story if you want. Our encouragement within cinema therapy is to use aesthetic distance to separate yourself. And again, I think that's where ChatGPT excels because now you mentioned Joseph Campbell. It's going to pull from the realm of this framework. I mean, Joseph Campbell's whole point was we've been telling the same story for 10,000 years.
Yeah, the arc of the story is the same.
So if it can give us the framework and we can plug in ourselves into it and it helps shape us, now we can say yay, nay, or along the way, right?
So the plug in is what in this world gets called prompts.
There you go. Prompt engineering, conversation, really.
Yes, and it's really astonishing what this artificial intelligence can do in that regard. I mean, I really do have, and so do others of my classmates in the cinema therapy. Actual conversations, like one of the women said that she said, "I don't know what I meant here. What can
That's right.
can you help me?" And I love that. Um, I have something that I could share, which would take a second to, as an example, as a working example of an opening sentence with that. So I don't have the prompt, unfortunately. So what this is the very beginning of my main character telling a story from 100 years ago. And
Okay.
so I just said, this is Ellie telling the beginning of the story.
And just so people know background wise, you've been dumping in months worth of work. So it
Yes,
has a
yes.
lot it's pulling from. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
it just shows how far it can go because it gave me one thing and it wasn't quite right. So I asked, as you suggested, for another one. So it suggested that Ellie would start off by saying, "Okay, everyone, find a patch of grass. Yeah, grab a blanket if you've got one and settle in, especially you wiggly ones in the front row. Yes, Caleb, you too. I see those ants in your pants." Well, it made up Caleb. I don't know that, well, half of that worked for me and half of it didn't. So I gave it that feedback, and then it said, "Well, now, don't think you're hiding back there in the shade, Caleb. I don't even have a Caleb in my story. I see those grass stains on your knees." And I ended up with, from those examples, I ended up with, "Okay, everyone, scoot in." I say to the kids sitting under our favorite storytelling tree, "Today is not only Founders Day, it's also the day I'm going to tell you a big secret." So it got me going, but it missed the boat.
Exactly. And this is your consciousness as a writer. You've got a vision. Maybe you don't have either the experience or in the moment you're just stuck to say, I don't know what I want it to look like, but I know it's not that. And you have
Mm-hmm.
now the
Mm-hmm.
confidence to say, not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a higher level of processing than, oh my God, what is this thing? So to me, this is where the assistant, when you see it as the assistant, not a God, it's not telling you what to do,
Mm-hmm.
it's giving you something, is really helpful. And there's something really important in what you did here that I want to highlight. You changed from third person to first person, and you had ChatGPT do it for you frame wise. Like, I've got the story in the third person. I relatively like it. However, I want to change the perspective. And the result that you sent me from a test allies and enemy stage was excellent. I was stunned at how good it was. And I know you massaged it. It wasn't like it was pure
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, but how helpful was that to say, I want to do this, but oh my God, if I have to change every article and every pronoun here, it's going to be a pain. How helpful was that for it to give you?
Oh, it was just a relief. It was a gift. And it did have mistakes where it messed up every once in a while, but like less than 10% of it. And I'm going to read it. It's my stuff that I'm
Of
going to
course.
turn in. So I'm going to read it and proofread it and edit it anyway. But it did with a simple prompt. Please tell this story from Ellie's perspective, Ellie's point of view.
What a massive thing that is. And by the way, I want to highlight what you said about, yes, I'm going to rewrite it. I'm also going to send it to my trusted, group, this, that, and the other. And you're going to get lots of feedback along the way. So I just want to go back to the beginning about use of ChatGPT, especially within our program. The benefit being that you're not writing alone. You're going to have a group of fellow travelers slash writers with you, and you're going to have me as your Sherpa leading you to use ChatGPT from the beginning, even if you've never used it before, and to use it effectively because it's going to change the way you look at writing. That's fundamentally, I think, the difference here is I think we're opening the door to people seeing writing in a way they never identified with before. Who, me? I could never do this. Yes, you can. And now, not just because of the bottleneck of Robert trying to teach you, which is difficult and laborious, it is with this tool in the middle of us that says, guess what? Ask it questions, throw things at it, play, like you said from the
Yeah,
beginning.
I was going to repeat myself. It really is a delightful experience to just experiment with it a little bit. I don't know if you can see this, but look how much scribbling I did
Yeah,
on top of the Chat GPT,
right.
rendition, and a lot of those typed words were mine anyway. But everything's going to need to be edited. But
This
it's the
answers
jumpstart. It's the assistant.
There you go. This answers to me a lot of what do you mean ChatGPT and storytelling. For everybody who's watching, if you still have questions, if we didn't nail your question, please put it in the comments, let us know. We're going to continue with another episode right now where we talk more broadly about the workshop, which, it's about storytelling even outside of cinema therapy. It touches on that, but kind of the inner workings of ChatGPT as we've identified it. So we'll see you on the next dose.
Okay.